Hey there, Scorcher here, this time with a Temtem video. Today we're going to be reviewing the basics of battle in Temtem. This is a new game that just came out today, so the servers are a little bit slow, but hopefully we can hop into a fight and I can explain how Temtem is different from Pokemon and what makes the, their battles very different. So let's do that right away. Let's just run in here into these two tamers, I would mean, who are Sarah and Lara, the lethal twins. They're just gonna talk to us. We're gonna pick any option here and we'll fight. We'll hop right into a battle. All right, so now that we're going on a battle here in Temtem, I can explain a little bit of how the battle system works. The first thing that makes this battle system incredibly different from Pokemon is the stamina system. So Temtem do not use PP every time they use any of their moves, in this case called techniques. So what they use is stamina from their second bar here, their blue bar. That's not experienced as stamina. And every time you use a move, for example, kick here with my Zmazzy, it'll take 8 points of stamina to use that move. And so it creates a layer of resource management because you can't just spam your best move over and over and over because you then eventually will run out of stamina. And I'll talk a little bit in a bit about what happens when you start running out of stamina. I also want to review that. There's also moves that need to charge a hold. So what that means is that if I try to use my move Martial Strike right here, it'll tell me that it's not ready. And you can see that it has a grayed out line right next to the orange here. That means that the move, I have to wait for one turn for that move to be available to be used. And there's hold moves with 1 turn wait and 2 turn waits. And that's usually preventing you from spamming a specific move over and over and over as well, or preventing you from opening the battle with a super strong move right out of the gate. Another thing that makes this battle system extremely different from Pokemon is the fact that there's no RNG. And by that is, if you hover over any move here and right click, you'll see that there is no accuracy. That means that all moves will always hit and there's no criticals. That means that there's no randomized chances that your moves will do double damage, and there's no randomized chance that your move will just not hit. So there's no RNG anywhere in this game, at least that's how it's been advertised. And that's one of the other big differences about the combat here. Another big difference too is that you can see here on the screen right now, it's priority. The way that priority works in Temtem, it's very different than how it works in Pokemon, because in Pokemon priority works in kind of like tiers, while priority works as a multiplier on Temtem. So for example, the move kick has a priority of high, and that means that the speed stat of my Temtem is going to be multiplied by 1.5%. And it could still outspeed a move that has a bigger, higher priority as long as the multiplier ends up in a result that's higher. For example, my Zmazzy here can use this high priority move to multiply its speed by 1.5, but let's say that one of my opponents, the Swally, uses a move that's a very high priority, which multiplies by 1.75, but if my base stat is still higher after that multiplier, I still go first. So that's kind of how it works. Very different than how it works from Pokemon. So let's actually go through this turn and use up some of our stamina to explain how that works. So obviously we click on the opponent that we want to attack. Another hint is that if you've caught the Temtem that you're battling, when you're using a move, if you hover over the Temtem, it will glow in a yellowish greenish color if it's a super effective move, and it will glow in red if it's not effective or half damage. So let's try it out on, we're gonna attack this Swally and we're gonna burn some of our stamina here. Alright, so now you'll notice that our stamina has gone down here in a Zmazzy, and because a turn has passed, we now can use Martial Strike. So our Martial Strike move is ready to use. We're gonna use it just to burn a little bit more stamina, and then I'll show you how the mechanic works when it comes into when you're running out of stamina and what you have to do to heal it up. So let's do Martial Strike on this Swally right here, and we're gonna peck this Fomu as well. Fomu is so cute. I don't like hurting it. I don't like it. So now that we've used up some stamina, easy way to recover some stamina is to actually give up your turn and click on this icon and rest with Mazzy in order to increase its stamina back up. In the meantime here with Pájaro, I'm just gonna heal. And we'll move on to the next turn. Let's see how it goes. We're gonna use Bamboozle, which burns a lot of stamina but protects the enemy. Kind of works like protect. We're gonna get some rest and our stamina goes all the way back up. Alright, so Mazzy now has its stamina back up to max. But what happens if you spam a lot of attacks or use attacks that eat up a lot of stamina and you're running out of stamina? What will happen is that your Temtem will go into overexertion and it will start eating away at its own HP to make up for that stamina that you're using. Not only that, you'll give up double the points of HP than you would for normal stamina. So it's really important to keep an eye on how your stamina is doing and make sure that you're not overexerting, because your Temtem could potentially even pass out or get knocked out of burning out too much HP with your moves. So that's a way of balancing the game. I feel like that was being introduced so that you can't just, you know, spam Earthquake or G-Max moves and all that kind of stuff and just force your way into a win. It makes the game much more difficult and much more strategy based, because you have to be doing that resource management all throughout the entire battle. All right, so let's finish up this fight by doing a Martial Strike on Fomu and a Peck, which will completely annihilate our cute Fomu right here. Just because we also know that Pig is protecting right there, so there was no point in attacking it. Alright. Other than that, you can see that when you do beat a Temtem in the field, you get experience as always, and stamina it's its own stat, just like HP, speed, attack, defense, special attack, and special defense. I'm gonna assume that you already know the basics of Pokemon battles. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward, just like any other Pokemon battle. The other thing is that you can see here with Pájaro is that it has a move called Hypnosis, which works pretty much the same way as in Pokemon, but because there's no RNG in this game, what it does is that it gives you a guaranteed number of turns that the other Temtem, sorry, will be asleep for. In this case, 2 turns. So that's how status moves work on Temtem. They will always hit, and they have a specific set of turns that it will work for. Another thing that you will get eventually later in the game are moves that have synergies, and that means that it might be a move that, depending on the type of the Temtem that is with your Temtem, it will get a specific additional effect. For example, there's a move that if you're next to a toxic Temtem in your side of the field, it'll give it a toxic power and it'll be able to poison the enemy or something like that. So those are synergy moves, which I don't have any to show off right now, but I still wanted to bring up and tell you about. All right, so let's see how Hypnosis looks in this case. We're gonna kick the side pad and then Pig is gonna Bamboozle again. Oh, it ate up so much of its stamina that it also ate up a bunch of its HP because it didn't have enough stamina to justify for it. So it went into overexertion. You can see here that we've given the side pad 1 turn already has passed, and now it has another turn to be asleep for. The condition of sleep, actually, you wake up when you get hit while you're on sleep. So this is mostly to buy you time, maybe to, in this case with my Pájaro, to go into rest and actually heal up my stamina. The last thing that I wanted to point out too about statuses in this game that it's very different from Pokemon is that you can get 2 statuses at the same time on the same Temtem. So this Temtem could be both asleep and also poisoned. The other thing that's different too is that you can get positive statuses where you actually get buffed and you can potentially eat up less stamina for using the same kind of moves and all that kind of stuff. Pretty interesting stuff. Now let's just wrap up this battle by doing a Martial Strike into the side pad and a Peck as well. The Pig is still using the Bamboozle, so I don't want to attack it because it'll be protected. As you can see, that was a half as effective move. The side pad is gone. They decide to rest the Pig to gain some stamina. That's exactly what they have to do. You can see Mazzy just learned Tail Strike, which is also needs 1 hold to work. And we got Wind Blade for Pájaro. And you can see that these moves are also either physical or special. In this case, that one is special. We get our stats boosted. And then let's end it off with Tail Strike and Wind Blade, the 2 new moves that we just learned. Since it didn't Bamboozle, Oh wait, this effect of Bamboozle also carryovers. The effect of Bamboozle actually carries over. Okay, interesting. But since we doubled into it, that's not a big deal. And there we go. That's the basics of battle from Temtem. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. This game just came out and I'm pretty excited to make more content about it. So let me know if you liked it. We'll be streaming this game as we play through the story. Hopefully the servers will do better. Yeah, and I'll see you on the next video. All right, peace.